So today I'm going to be using RIT color remover to take the color out of a couple different clothing items that I have today. I'm going to use the stovetop method because I heard it was the most effective, but you could do it in the washing machine or in a tub or anything like that. So these are the different clothing items that I'm going to be attempting to strip color off of. I started by getting the clothes wet. I got out the powder, I got my tongs out. I put a mask on because it's loose powder. I didn't want it to irritate my lungs. And I also got my vent fan on high because it smells really bad and you should be in a high ventilated area. So I got ready to strip the color off of these first two shirts. So here it is in the pot. I was expecting the color to start stripping immediately, but it did not. And I didn't know why, so I took the temperature. I realized I put it in too early. I should have put it in at 200. So yeah, this was just a little bit low here, but I did notice once it got to 200, the color did start stripping pretty quickly off of one of the shirts. The tan shirt did not really budge, but I did, the yellow shirt did go from a deep mustard color to a little bit of a neon color. Here it's boiling, which is, a problem in also, and I'll explain that later. Okay, so after about 20 minutes, I rinsed it off in the sink, first hot water, then cold water, and then I'm gonna just put it in this tub here to rinse it off a little bit more before I put it in the washing machine. And now I'm gonna gear up for part 2. I'm gonna run this again, and so yeah, I'm going to test my water, and this time it is a lot closer to 200 than it was last time. So I'm going to go ahead and put my powder in and get the dress in. This one did change immediately. If you can see the dress that's in the water, it's purple, and it was a little bit bluish before it immediately turned purple. Sorry for the sketchy camera work. This was my first time ever doing this, so it was hard to film it and focus on doing it at the same time. But this one did start to boil. It did get really hot really quick, and so I tried to keep that on. It's very hard to keep the thing submerged when it's boiling, and on top of that, some water jumped out and it burnt my hand, and it put me in a very bad mood. It started boiling immediately. I was gonna be completely done, but she persisted. Let's see. Okay, so here's how this one turned out. And this dress is the reason I did this whole experiment. I have certain colors that I need to wear for my choir concert coming up. I didn't want to buy a whole new dress, so I wanted to dye this dress. I went on a whole big old journey with this dress. So I had already dyed it. It was super white when I first got it. I had already dyed it blue twice in the washer, and then I bleached it because it was too dark. And now I need to strip the color off of it and start over. But I actually really did like the pinkish color that it turned out. I don't know if I'm going to dye over it. It's not the color that I needed it to be, but I really like it. So I didn't want to waste the water, even though I was in such a bad mood from burning my hand. I decided to throw in my last garment anyway and see what I could do with it. I actually loved it. It turned out to be a really nice sage green color. It had been a really deep turquoise before, and it wasn't a color that I liked wearing. So one of the main reasons that I wanted to dye this dress instead of buying a whole new one is, yes, to save money, but also to reduce my carbon footprint and reduce the things that I'm going to be sending to a landfill. So, reduce on the transportation and packaging to get it sent to me, because I'd probably just order it on Amazon, and reduce. I know the textile industry is like crazy with water usage. I wanted to reduce that. I think a pair of jeans is like 20 or 2,000 gallons of water. So this seemed like a pretty good solution to me. Unfortunately, since this was my first time doing this and I had some kinks to work out, I did end up wasting tons and tons and tons of water. Just this one dress alone, I had ran it through the washer twice to dye it completely in the washer completely by itself, and then I ran another load to bleach it. I had to fill up this tub. I filled up the different pots a bunch of times. So yeah, hopefully I'll get that figured out in the future. Okay, so here is how this one turned out. You can't really see it here because I don't have daylight anymore, but it's like this peachy off-white color. It started super, super white, like baptism white. Here I wore it as a Halloween costume. I was a Greek goddess, but it started out really, really, really white. I felt weird wearing it, and so now it's this off-white color. I don't know if I'm going to dye over it or not because I kind of like it. But here's how everything turned out. Yeah, so the tan one didn't budge at all. This one went from a mustard color to this neon-y color. This one went from like a gray blue to this peachy off-white color. This is my favorite one. It went from turquoise to the sage green, and then these leggings faded a little bit. So here's the side by side. You can see how it changed. The lighting wasn't perfectly the same, but you can see, you know, good enough. But yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with how this turned out. I'm probably going to do the yellow shirt again because the directions say, you know, if you don't like that color, you know, you're going to keep doing it. It might take me several packets to get there, but I really would like that shirt to be white. Everything else, I'm probably going to leave it as it is. I really like how it turned out. I like how the colors have changed. And yeah, thanks for joining me on this journey today. 10 out of 10.